I see one off in the distance now. So here we are with part 2 of the Headshot Hunter series, and the last time we hunted squirrel in part 1, we actually sat underneath a tree and waited for the squirrel to come into our vicinity. And today we're going to be doing something a little different, and I want to talk to you a little bit about the picture that I have of my father at the start of the video. I always have his pictures at the start, and because he is the one that's influenced me and taught me pretty much everything I know about firearms and hunting. That picture was taken back during the Depression, and that's when, you know, not only food was scarce, but also ammunition was scarce too. And a lot of times he would tell me that he would go out to hunt to bring protein home for the family, and he would only step out the door with maybe 3 shells of 22 ammunition. And back then every shot counted, but he said that he always came home with either rabbit or squirrel, and but was able to help feed his family. So, you know, when we talk about headshots for squirrels or rabbit or any small game, what you want to do is you want to know where your rifle is shooting. Okay, you want to go to the range, not maybe just one time, but several times, and you know, shoot at 25 to 50 yards, and most squirrels are going to be taken, you know, within 35 yards. 35 yards being the max. Now, today I have with me, and I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about this gun because you'll see that in part 1, but I brought my my Marlin 1957 39A 22 long rifle with me, and this is the gun that I grew up with. This is actually my birth gun. I was born in 1957. So this gun means a lot to me. I'm not going to talk too much about the history of it. Otherwise, I will tell you that it does have a 24-inch barrel, and it does have a Bushnell 3x9 scope, and the scope is sighted in for 50 yards. So if I was to shoot a squirrel under 50 yards, I know I'm going to have a little bit of a bullet rise. So I might want to aim a little bit lower on the squirrel's head if I'm under 50 yards. Okay, so the max that I would go down lower on a squirrel would be about a 1/4 inch with the crosshairs. Okay, so, but anyway, this is what I grew up with, hunting squirrel with and other small game, and this is also the firearm of choice that my father used back in the day. And these guns have been, they're one of the longest running production guns in America, and they've been in existence for a long time, and they're a great lever action gun, and you know, you'll probably see a lot of videos on YouTube talking about these guns, but this is my gun of choice. So what we're going to do today is we're going to load up, and I brought 7 shells with me, and I also have some more, but I'll talk briefly about the ammunition. In part 1, I talked about you want more punch when you hit a squirrel to get them to come out of the tree, and so you want a slower bullet around. I'm going to use a Winchester ammo, and it's 1280 feet per second. Also, I use 40 grain, and these are hollow points too. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to load up 7. And now you notice that I have my lever open. Okay. And before I place my hand, see, when I load in this tubular magazine, my hand's going to be in front of the barrel, the muzzle. So I want to make sure that I don't have the gun closed during this procedure here. Okay, so there's 7. Okay. And also these older guns, they don't have a safety on them. So, and a lot of people know how to let the hammer down slowly, but I'll go over that again. So I'm going to put one in the chamber. Okay, one went in the chamber. So the first thing you want to do is keep your fingers out of the trigger guard, okay? Place your thumb on the hammer and pull it back slightly. Then put your finger inside the trigger guard, squeeze the trigger enough just to release the hammer, to let it start to come down. Bring it down slowly and set it in that position. Okay, this is a non-firing position. It does not take the place of a safety, but this is where it's safe to carry and it won't fire in this position. Okay, and always keep your muzzle pointed in a safe direction. Okay, whether the gun is loaded or unloaded. All right, so today let's talk about our tactic that we're going to be using today. Now, like I said in part 1, we sat underneath the tree and we just waited for the squirrels to come to us. Well, today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to be a little bit more proactive with squirrel hunting today, and that is we're going to be hiking through the woods in a slow manner and spot squirrels from a distance and maybe sneak up on them and be able to get a good headshot. But that's what we're going to be doing today. But I appreciate you joining me, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you do that now. Hit the subscribe button and hit that like button if you like the video, and share this video with your friends too. And but let's go out and do some headshots and make these shots count. And another thing I want to go over, when you do a headshot, you really want to make sure that your barrel and your gun are clean. You know, one thing that he always told me before you went hunting was always to wipe out the barrel, and because assuming that you cleaned your barrel, and there could be leftover residue of oil and things like that in the barrel, because you want that bullet coming out of the barrel to have contact with the rifling as it comes out, and that's going to make you more accurate with your shots. So he would run a rag through, and now today we have polishing tools that we use, and I'll show you one that I have with me here. So this is what I attach to the end of my cleaning rod, and I'll run this through the barrel several times before I go out and go hunting, and that'll soak up any leftover oil that could be in the barrel. Okay, but anyway, let's get geared up here, and I'm going to be moving the camera around a lot today, so I'm going to be taking you with me, and let's hike through the woods and see what we can find. I'm River Bay, and welcome to the kingdom. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to move up and place myself next to some cover like a tree and just stand and wait for a while as I'm hiking through the woods. You don't want to hike through too fast, because there might be something pretty close to you that you might be missing. So as I'm scanning the treetops, I'm also listening. And if you've got a low wind condition, like today, it's about, let's say it's about 10 mile an hour winds today. And So I should be able to hear the squirrel before I actually see them. So this is a good section of the woods here because there's a lot of hickory trees here. Now, as I'm walking through the woods at a slow pace, I'm stopping every 30 or 40 feet and just listening. I see one off in the distance now. I'm going to verify with my scope. Yep, I see a fox squirrel off in the distance. So what we're going to do is we're going to sneak up on him and see if we can get a shot. So we do get the squirrel here, and of course I had to walk probably 75, 80 yards to actually spot the squirrel again and get into position. And I'll be showing you where the squirrel is, probably 5 or 6 times with a circle pointer. And that way you'll be able to spot him and keep an eye on him as we get into position. I did have to move over to the left probably about 10 yards and brace myself up against a tree to get a good steady shot. And you'll be seeing why it's important here to use a heavy grain bullet. Again, I'm using a hollow point 40 grain 1280 feet per second. Okay, there he is right there with the circle pointer. And I'll be showing you again, he's at the right of the screen. There he is. And so see if we can keep an eye on him here and see how he goes into cover here, and he gets behind a lot of twigs and small branches, so I didn't have a clear shot there. And also at one point he had his back to me, and so I had to wait for him to turn around. Okay, so a bunch of twigs in the way. But anyway, the heavy grain bullet will help you knock him out of the tree better. And a slower bullet like the 1280 feet per second is also going to deliver more punch. So here I am looking here to the left to get into position here, and I'm going to find a smaller tree to brace my gun against and get a steady shot. Now there he is there. It's hard to pick him out. Now this branch is right in the way of the GoPro, but you'll see the circle pointer kind of point in the direction where he'll be falling. There you see him right there. Now I'll show you a slow motion speed. And there he is falling. Okay, and a zoom, and approximately where he is, like I said, that small twig is hiding him. There he is falling there. Okay, now we're going to go up in that area now and search for him. And it did take a little while. I had to remember what tree he fell out of and make my way through there. But you'll hear me mention that when we check to make sure that he's dead before we pick him up, that I use the words pretty much dead. And my father used those words, and he said that was 99.999% chance that he's dead, because the only way that you really know that they're dead for sure, he said, was when they're in the frying pan. They're 100% dead. So, you know, if you're taking a a son or a daughter or your brother or sister hunting, make sure that they don't touch that squirrel for a while until you make sure the squirrel is dead for sure, because they can fall out of the tree. There he is right there. And we did get a headshot and we hit him right in the mouth. But sometimes when they fall out of the tree, they can hit their head, if they're not dead, and knock themselves out. And then as you're going to pick them up, if you pick them up too early, now I'm checking to make sure he's dead. If you pick them up too early, they could come to, and they have really sharp teeth. And they could do a number on you for sure. So that's why you want to wait a while and then poke him around a little bit with the muzzle.
Looks like he's pretty much dead.
Okay, so now we got to go find the camera equipment and do the final segment.
We got to retrace our steps here.
Okay, with this squirrel, I actually hit him right in the mouth, so it was another nice headshot. And now that was sneaking up on him from a distance. And once I spotted him, I moved up on him slowly, and I was able to. I had to wait for him for at least probably 10 minutes, 15 minutes maybe, to come into view, and also not have any twigs in the way. So when I first saw him and I snuck up on him, he had his back to me and I couldn't get a good headshot, so I actually had to wait another 10 minutes before he turned around, and then he climbed up on another limb. And I waited also till he got into a clear area to where I didn't have any twigs in the way. So I took my time and put the crosshairs right on his head, and like I said, I hit him right in the mouth. So either way you hunt, like if you hunt like I do in part one, where I sit underneath the tree and wait for the squirrels to come to me, you might have to wait a little bit longer. And then the second tactic of part two today, where I actually snuck up on the squirrel. So anyway, another nice hunt today. I appreciate you joining me, and I hope you've learned a lot. And if you like the video, hit that subscribe button and hit the like button too, if you like the video. And but share this with your friends, and I wish you success too in your squirrel hunts too. And I hope everything that I went over today helps you out. But anyway, thanks again for watching. So yeah, this turned out to be a productive day too. I actually did a nice headshot on this squirrel. I saw him from a distance and snuck up on him, and it took probably 10-15 minutes to wait for him to come into the clearing, but it was well worth it. And also when I first saw him, he had his back to me, and so I waited patiently because I really wanted the headshot, and as you can see, I got him right in the mouth here. So it was perfect. I didn't destroy any of the meat. Got a nice squirrel to put in the freezer. But anyway, if you want to do like I did in part one, where you just sit underneath the tree and wait for them to come to you, that'll work well too. Or else you can do what I did in part two today, and that is be more proactive, and that is spot them from a distance and sneak up on them. And just be patient, make sure you get a good headshot, and that way, see, I didn't destroy any of the meat on this squirrel. Got a nice squirrel here, but I appreciate you joining me. Hit that like button down below if you like the video, and also subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out. And share this with your friends, and leave a comment, and say hi to me or whatever, and tell me about your squirrel hunting experiences or what gun you like to use. And I always read my comments and usually answer them too, so appreciate you watching.